Ty, the dog guy on the daily, and I want to talk about a challenge that is maybe the #1 complaint that I hear from dog owners the first time that I work with them. And I might have done a podcast on this before, or a video blog on this before, but regardless, I'm going to do it again because I've always got different insight, the more clients I work with, and frankly, I've been hearing this a lot lately, so it's on my mind, so I'm going to do another podcast on this. But the one complaint that I probably hear the most is my dog only listens when he wants to, or my dog only listens when she wants to. And oftentimes folks are looking at this as an issue with the dog. The dog is stubborn. The dog doesn't want to listen. The dog's not motivated. The dog is stupid, or the dog's too smart, or whatever, right? And oftentimes the blame, not the blame, but the reasoning that folks have behind this is, well, my dog is this or that. But in reality, almost everybody teaches their dog to be obedient when the dog feels like it. Let me explain how they do that. It usually starts from day one when that dog comes home. Let's say it's a puppy, for example, but this applies to maybe adopting an adult dog. But day one, puppy comes home, and we say, "Come here, puppy." And puppy, probably being puppy, hears somebody talk and is like, "Oh, cool, somebody's talking, here I come." And so they're like, "Cool, the puppy came." And then they say it again tomorrow, "Come here, puppy." And then 12 times the next day, "Come here, puppy." And the puppy comes because, frankly, puppies will come to anything. You could say, zucchini, radish, and the puppy would probably come. It doesn't matter, right? But you're not teaching the dog anything. You're just making noise and the dog's coming. And so the dog's not learning a whole lot. The dog's probably learning that it's good to come when called, but that's about it. But by the same token, folks start doing stuff like, "Oh, you chewed the shoe, get over here, puppy. That was a bad mistake." But anyways, what tends to happen is that expands. Now it's sit, now it's down, now it's, stay, telling the dog to do all these things. Now here's the problem. Dogs don't learn very well by being told. They do learn very well by being shown. But the problem is most people are just telling their dog to do this and telling their dog to do that and telling their dog to do the other thing. And so as time goes on, now we've got this year-old dog who has probably heard "come," let's put a number on it, 1,000 times. But the dog has probably only come 200 of those times, right? And other times the dog hasn't. Because the owner's simply telling the dog, that the owner's not putting themselves in a position to actually back it up and make sure that the dog follows through. The owner's simply telling the dog to come, or telling the dog to stay, not showing, telling. And if you could train a dog by talking to it, I wouldn't have a job. It'd be so easy to train your dog. The showing is where it gets difficult, and that's what most people don't do. And so after all this time of owning the dog and all this time of communicating with the dog realizes, oh, come means, I might get a treat, I'll get a pat on the head, or maybe I'll get in trouble. Most of the time it probably means a good thing. But they never back it up, and so I don't have to do this. So if there's something more interesting over there, I'm just as welcome to do that, because the owner never taught them. They simply told them. And so that's, like I say, that's the big deal. When your dog is young, you never, ever give a command, or new to you, you never give a command that you can't back up, ever. Because if you do, you put yourself in a position where the dog realizes, I only have to be obedient if I feel like it. And then, of course, you're complaining about it later to your dog trainer. And your dog trainer's like, all right, well, here's why. So yeah, avoid that. Back up what you say, and you'll be in great shape.